Hey guys, Beast here, coming at you with another video that can only be made by people who can't get to Challenger, which will be our solo queue into Masters, which is basically where we just look at a few games to see what we did right and wrong and how we can improve. Now in this first game, I saw that we had a Gragas and a Rakan, so I knew that I didn't have to play Nautilus because we already had a lot of engage and they didn't really need any more, so it gave me an opportunity to play Olaf in something more fun. Now, J4 makes a TP here, and the thing is that if I don't go on this, then he just TPs anyway, but I think he was going to cancel it from the beginning and he just used it to bait me, because there was no way I kill him anyway or stop his back or make him do anything of significance other than just kill me, which ends up biting me in the ass. But then he steps up too far in lane because he wasted his TP and then I used mine to get back, so I end up getting a pretty free kill on him. He almost gets away, he threw his spear down, but he wasn't able to Q to it. After that, Evelyn shows up, and I thought I was able to kill her, but then I didn't have enough mana, and if I chased any harder, then she would have just turned around, eat, and killed me, so there really wasn't any point to staying any longer. Now, this game was going pretty smoothly until our Gragas and Rakan and Zed just started making these really weird, deep fights in their jungle, and it didn't really work out, and they were flaming each other throughout the entire game, and it stalled the game out a lot longer than it should have because we did out-composition them, as well as have a few leads in lanes that were very important, such as we had a huge lead in the mid lane, and we had a pretty decent lead in the bot lane, but all in all, it just ends up for some very shitty plays and some very bad throws. But we do actually come back a little later at Baron because we got a pick on their ADC and Evelyn, so that just guaranteed us the Baron, and I start chasing down J4 here because I know my team's already secured the Baron, and I thought I would be able to kill him, but he has flash and he just barely gets away because of that slow. And after that, Malzahar comes chasing after me and he ghosts, and I know that there's no blasting plant because I popped it like before the Baron. So my only real option is to stay and fight, and he just ults me and I die. This is kind of my mistake because I dove too deep and just tunnel visioned on the J4 really hard because I thought I would get another E off to kill him, but turns out that wasn't the case. But since we got such a lead out of taking Baron, and we also took some mid towers, then we just went and ran it down bot basically, and I thought I could live here, but then nobody really focused the J4 and everybody just kind of ran past, and we did what we had been doing for almost the entire game, which was just diving way too deep and not really focusing on getting our front line forward as well as us. It was pretty much just me, Gragas, and Rakan diving the back line while Zed and Tristana sit back. But then we do actually do what our composition is made for, which is just going straight at them and getting picks, and we made a really easy pick on the Brand, and then I just left because I knew they would kill the Malzahar. And J4 and Evelyn actually kind of put up a fight and killed the Tristana, and I went back to help them, but then Sivir just made a really stupid play, and I placed that ward there just in case she did something really stupid like that, which was an obvious bait. I knew she would just step around that corner if she wanted to help her team, and she did, so she ended up dying for it. But after that, we kind of just pushed down mid, and we do, again, dive a little too deep here, but because all of them weren't there to just mow us down, and it was really only those three, then we could just pick them off and then run away. Gragas does get caught out, and this fight would have been a lot more smoother, but we kind of fought without having our Zed, and Zed was a lot of our kills and a lot of our damage, especially in team fights. He could literally kill anybody he wanted to aside from the J4, but then we end up winning that game, and we get 15 LP, which is actually really low, and I don't know if it's my MMR or if it's just because I'm getting higher ELO, but I'm not getting as much LP as I used to. I think it's just my MMR because I play a lot of Nautilus and sometimes I play like trash. Which means that obviously in our next game we will be playing Nautilus, and I thought I was picking into a Vlad, and I've played against a lot of Vlad as Nautilus before, so I thought that in this game I would at least be able to control how much I fed, but it turns out it was a Vladimir mid and it was an Akali top, and there wasn't so much that Akali was top lane that killed me, but there was a lot of really weird plays that went down in the bot and mid lane, which gave for a lot of kills, and I think when I was just 0-1. She already had 4 kills and 3 assists. Like, in this play, my team was just chasing way too deep, and they almost got a kill on the Vladimir, which would have actually made it worth play and wouldn't have made it so bad. But the fact that they didn't, and then both of them died with only getting 2 kills, actually set them significantly far behind, and really excelled Vladimir as well as Akali this game. So after that, since Akali was super fed, my team wanted to try and make a play on her, and we could have actually killed her, but then Corki missed his Q, so then we had no vision of her, and she was able to hide for like 5 seconds, and then Lee Sin comes in, and Elise tunnel vision like super hard, while Corki came back to try and save me, which ended up getting Elise killed because Vladimir was roaming after he saw that Corki was gone. And then Corki ends up eventually dying because he tries to stay and kill Lee Sin, which obviously was a stupid mistake. So what we should have done is we should have just backed out after Corki missed his Q, because that just gave Akali too much time to hide in her invisible shit. So yeah, it kind of ended up screwing us. And here I thought I was just going to save Corki, but it turns out he didn't really need saving and he was safe from danger anyway. And basically, I just feed my ass off into the enemy team and give them another kill, as I normally do. So after that, nothing really happened, and we kind of stopped feeding for at least a while until Baron came up, and then Elise was trying to get vision on it, but we didn't really have any vision, so it kind of just ended up with her getting caught out, and then she died, and I tried to save her, and then I died, and then everybody else on my team died, except for the Tristana, which kind of threw the game right there, and that was basically the turning point, because then they just take Baron, and they push mid, and we lose again, and we lose another 19 LP. Now, getting into our next game, we're against a Kennen, and once again, we are boring as fuck, so we're playing Nautilus, and we actually do get an early gank here, which basically feels like the first time in forever, especially as Nautilus, because there's a lot of opportunities, actually, that I see ganks, but then I guess other people don't see it, and I guess that's kind of just me not being able to communicate well with my jungler, or my jungler just not caring, but either way it kind of misses out on a lot of kills. But lucky for me, that Kennen was retarded, and he's tried to stay and defend the tower with like 2 HP, which was really stupid by him, because even if it was just me, he wouldn't have even been able to defend, because I could have just hooked him and auto-attacked him and he would have died. Now, I thought that we could make a play here because I was coming in from the back, and I thought that Sivir was closer and that Shyvana was coming down to help us, but it turns out she was going top to, I guess, stop the Kennen from split pushing, who actually TP'd down to counter my roaming, and it kind of ends up screwing us. And here I just didn't have much map awareness, and I wasn't looking that my team wasn't coming in with me, because I just thought they were, and it's a really bad habit that I get into, is just thinking my team's gonna collapse because it's such an obvious situation, but then they don't do it just because they're off doing whatever they want to, and it does end up almost losing our inhibitor tower for it actually, and I stepped up there because I thought that I could distract them long enough to save LeBlanc, but I guess that wasn't true, and then they do take our inhibitor. Now, I thought that we might be able to fight them because of how weak they were, but Shyvana was just really scared to go in, and I don't know why, because they really didn't have anything left after they had used it all on us and the fight from killing LeBlanc. But my team just keeps going in and out, and then it really screws us. But after that, then they just kind of push mid, and then they end the game just because of how strong they are, and we end up losing 21 LP. Now, this game was completely winnable, but Shyvana was just very uncooperative, and after a while she just started split pushing because she gave up, and then we lost the game because of it. But as a wise man once said, be like Hitler, never give up. But that was the only aspect in which you should ever be like Hitler. And in the next game we play Braum, and I guess Gragas thought we could pick off the Bard there, but I didn't flash, and I didn't feel comfortable flashing over the wall, so then we missed the kill. And then Twitch just gets caught out here because he tried to push up too far, and he just insta-kill over to Draven. And basically this game was just Aurelia feeding the Mordekaiser super hard, and then everybody else just gave up as well, and we lose LP, and also the Gragas was just like super toxic to everyone and called us a lot of names, which definitely got him reported because about 2 minutes after that game, that notification that you get when you report someone comes up. But in our next game, we played Nautilus, and we actually got cheesed by Scion level 1 when we stepped up to the wave. He had a max Q pumped up in the brush, which ended up screwing me, and I die and give first blood. But it doesn't matter too much because, you know, it's a Scion, and whether he has 5 kills or he's 0-5, he's still just pretty much going to do the same thing. It's just going to take a few extra seconds to kill him. And they try and dive me here, but Kane just backs off, and then Scion just keeps going in. So then he dies from it. And this Kha'Zix actually did gank for me a few times, and we did get a few kills off of him. But the game really went downhill when he started camping for mid, which was a Fizz and Syndra lane, and in that lane, Syndra's gonna get destroyed no matter what, so trying to camp her and get her ahead is pretty useless because Fizz has enough base damage. He could build full tank, and Fizz would probably have enough base damage to kill off the Syndra, but since Kha'Zix kept trying to gank for it, then he actually ended up screwing himself, as well as stopping the snowball that he was getting going top. And basically after that they just push mid and they end the game. But in this game it wouldn't have mattered too much even if we would have gotten leads in lane, because they just outcomped us so hard because Varus doesn't do anything and Syndra can't do anything against Fizz. So this game was kind of just one of those almost unwinnable games unless we just got monumentally far ahead. But that's it for this video, guys. If you did like it, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Or dislike this video, call me a faggot, and never come back. But just a quick side note, I have been very busy this week, which is why I didn't release any content, and I will be sure to release more content in the near future. A lot of it is going to be PUBG just because it's a very popular game right now and a lot of people want to see it, but I will do my best to make sure that I get the solo queue to Masters out every 4 days or more. And until next time, guys, I will see you in my next video.